to the show. Today's episode, you and we're going to take a deep dive look into Eugene Kim, a packaging engineering that just graduated from Rutgers University, and we're going to basically find out, what gives him enjoyment, what gives him fulfillment, and what are his dreams and aspirations, and why he took the steps he took to be where he's at right now. So, Eugene Kim, thank you so much for being on the show.
No problem. Thank you for inviting me to the show. I was actually waiting for this moment. The
I'm,
anticipation.
I'm super excited. I mean, this has been a long waited time for you to be up here as a guest, and thank you for staying with me for like 5 take straights. You know what I mean? Five takes. What did it just say? 5 takes straights?
5 takes straight. I think
That
that's
that
what
that
you
made
said.
no sense. But anyway, this is our fifth time trying to record this, right? Those of us that aren't really familiar with who you are, can you just give us a little background?
Yeah. So, as Joe said before, I am a Rutgers alumnus. I studied packaging engineering. Um, I'm a nerd. I'm a big nerd. I'm a weeb. I love music. I actually love a whole variety of music, whether that's country, hip hop, EDM, etc. I also love classical music too. Um, I am, yeah, I'm just a nerd and just like playing video games. That's basically it. So yeah, I'm not as special as what society could portray me as, but or how TikTok portrays me as. But I can dive deeper into that later.
Just dig right in and get to your brain and your heart. So, you know, Eugene loves to create things, right? And this is why you're a packaging engineer. This is why you're a content creator on TikTok. And before TikTok, you've been always active on Snapchat and making people laugh. And why creating things? Like, why did that give you fulfillment? And how did you know, like, yo, this might be my purpose, and I want to major in things where I can create things?
So I think most of my life, I've always seen people who create the weird stuff. And to me, it sets a lot of impact on myself. And it's also given me the value that I want to basically impact anyone's life to the smallest scale. And to me, that's by making people laugh. I love making people laugh. When I used to do it on Facebook, when I used to do it on Snapchat, I remember Facebook freshman year, we used to post memes a lot. And that was pretty funny because sophomore year, a lot of people used to know me in our grade as, yo, you're that dude on Facebook, you and Sam Afflew and stuff like that. And then I went to Snapchat because I stopped the whole Facebook thing. And then I started posting, and then I eventually got on Rutgers Snapchat, and then people were like, yo, you went on Rutgers Snapchat and everything. And I was like, oh man. So for me, making content and making people smile, making people happy is, it's one of the greatest feelings that you can get, knowing that you can have an impact on people's lives. And as for a packaging engineer, it's more so of I want to help improve the community. I want to help protect the earth or the environment. And plastics, huge problem by the way. That's what I like to focus on: recycling or using recycled materials. Because using this bottle, for example, is 100% recycled plastics. This is very hard to make, but it was still probable and possible, and we have it now. So yeah, but at the same time, for me, I don't like when a group of for me, if it's with 100 people out of the millions that are in this world, and I'm fine with that. I like to keep it on the minuscule, and when that happens, that allows me to just relax, not get too much attention, etc.
Do you think ever since you found out that you really want to create things that kind of changed how you were as like a person, in the sense of like even waking up, like for example, like before you were absolutely sure about what you wanted to do even in college, Like, do you ever wake up kind of stressed out and was like, I gotta kind of figure out what I need to do? Or were you just never stressed out and were you just kind of waiting for that dream to come to you?
So when that came, I guess for me, I've always wanted to be a doctor or surgeon before, but then I watched Iron Man, which is basically every engineer's dream. So I wanted to become a mechanical engineer. Wanted to go to VTech, become a mechanical engineer. Boom, got accepted to VTech. Couldn't go, too expensive. Went to Rutgers instead. Was supposed to have an orientation on mechanical engineering. Was very late on that. Saw the packaging engineering one opened, chose it, went through with it, saw everything, and I was instantly snapped onto it. You know, for me, it wasn't so, I guess, hard. You know, when you spend so much time overthinking, you do waste a lot of valuable time. I mean, granted, that's what happened freshman year towards the end, but I guess I got lucky with the idea that, hey, this seems really good. I'll do my best to see if I can consistently enjoy it for the rest of my life, and so far I still love it. So yeah, so it was never stressful. For me it was just like, boop.
How'd you get over that overthinking phase? Cause like, I personally know like you like to think a lot. Like you're a thinker. You know what I mean? You like to think about like the intricacies of things, why things are what they are, and how they came to be. Right? Whether that be like theories or even like our thoughts and emotions. Like, how'd you like kind of shut it off and was like, I just gotta try it. You know? Was that a process? Was it the people you surrounded yourself with, or?
So when it came to that, let's be real. As a freshman, I did absolutely crap. I did nothing in my freshman year, and I academically did terrible. Like a 1.8 cumulative GPA by the end of freshman year. So when that came to be, I was probably the most stressed out of my entire life because I had a fear of getting kicked out of college. But I think somewhere down the line, I was still doing my internship. I had like this rewire moment. I just had this epiphany. I was like, dude, what's the whole point of just overthinking this? Just tell yourself you're going to do it, and you're just going to work hard. And no matter what, when you work hard, whatever results you get, that's the result you will deserve. And if you feel like you don't deserve it, work harder.
Hmm.
So when it came to the whole overthinking thought process, all it really takes for me is just to really look at myself and really know how I'm using my time efficiently, you know, because when I'm overthinking too much of a certain topic that, gets me worried, it basically, for me, I just look at myself. I'm like, wait, why am I doing this? Why am I overthinking? Why am I not making a change right now? Why am I spending so much time worrying? Nothing gets you in life when you worry so much. Is definitely doubt definitely sets you back more than what you think failure does. And that's very important, that I think a lot of people need to know, is that doubt will hold you back for more opportunities than what you see as failures.
I mean, how did you? I feel like you were able to also like when as you grew, you're able to kind of control your emotions too. So like, how did that come into play? Like, did you also nullify your emotions as you started to like kind of get into um like your major and was like, you know what, I can't doubt because like I feel like mentally, emotionally, everything synced in, right? So like, how do you also tone that down, that like emotional heaviness that you might have felt from like being anxious or worried about like what you wanted to do?
I mean, for me, when it's something, when I tell myself this is what I want to do, the last thing I want to do is doubt myself. You know, when I make a decision, I make sure I want to go head on with it, because I still have those moments where I contradict myself sometimes. That's only human. However, when it comes to the matter of doing something that's so critical and important in my life, it's like, hey, I tell myself, it's just me versus myself. Honestly, I'm always telling myself, hey, you can't doubt yourself on this. This is what you set yourself on, and you're just going to have to go through the whole process again if you keep doubting, if you, you know, keep sinking into this abyss, this dark abyss. And that's the thing that a lot of people struggle with, is just that abyss, which is primarily doubt. And for me, I didn't want to live my life on that fear. I've already seen what my doubt has done and what my insecurities have done before. The last thing I wanted to do is impact something that's extremely major on my life. So, it took a lot of, I guess, time to improve myself, but little by little, I eventually got to where I was. And yeah, internships, schools, graduated, perfectly fine now.
Was there ever a point where you kind of like blamed yourself for this unfortunate circumstance where you're like, or did you like always know that like it's just an unfortunate circumstance and I have so much value to bring to any organization? It's just that um during these circumstances, like you kind of understood that like, okay, like I understand that like they're gonna kind of close off hiring like entry positions, or were you kind of mad like, yo, I built this up and it's like I can still bring value, you know?
I think for me, what upset me wasn't the fact that I couldn't get a job. It's really complicated. It's actually really weird for me, to be honest. I was upset that I couldn't get a job, but it was more so how much I sacrificed for this moment. Because if you knew me sophomore year, I was going crazy. Like by the time junior year, senior year came in, I was maybe working 60 to 70% of the, the way I used to do it in sophomore year. Because sophomore year was just like overload work. I think in that semester itself, both terms of my GPAs, by average, it was like a 3.75, and I was like, every single day hitting the library at minimum 12 hours, and it took a toll on my weight too, but that was pretty cool. But yeah, it was just, I sacrificed my social life, or I sacrificed so much potential for a social life that I couldn't make that many connections as I could before. And with everyone having a lot of college experience, going to parties and stuff, for example, when you like invite me to parties and stuff, and I'm like, no, because sometimes I need to rest because my brain is overworked, or I just maybe 30 minutes after you leave, I just hit the books again. It's stuff like that, and it was a pretty toxic idea, but that was the cost of how much I could push myself. So yeah, that was probably the only thing that upset me. If with COVID, I know my worth. I know I have value. It's just the fact that I wanted a job so quickly. And that was bad, because for me, when I'm set in this position now at my low, I can prepare myself to be better if anything else happened in the future. Like, say, for example, I got a job. And some other unfortunate event hit out, and I was at a low. That would have affected my job and ultimately possibly get me fired. And if it wasn't for this moment, if it wasn't for this event, I wouldn't have known how to get my will back in shape. So yeah, it as much as COVID-19 is a curse, it's also sort of a blessing. You have to look at it from both sides of perspectives. So yeah.
Thank you so much, Eugene Kim, for joining us on this podcast. Do you have any final words of wisdom that you can maybe give us?
Okay, so for engineers, if you're a mechanical engineer and you're using a MacBook and especially if you have SolidWorks or any CAD softwares, can you please get a PC laptop? You're going to have to walk to whatever computer has access to it, because most CAD softwares actually require Windows. So please. And what else? anyone who's in college, honestly, don't do what I did. Um, don't do what I did unless you're like a super introverted freak. You know, if you love being alone, you could do what I did. But if you're an extroverted freak or an ambivert, don't do what I did. You know, it's just a lot. And when you'll get lonely, you'll just start talking to random people and stuff like that. Don't do it. And no matter what, time management is very important in college. Everyone will tell you that, but time management is important, and if you sleep on that, you're a fool. Time management is very important. It is helpful for your emotions, your mentality, and your physical well-being. For example, I was a sophomore in college. I literally ate, brown, Woody's from Bush. You know those burgers is like only this big, right? I had two of those per day. That's it, or even one. That's it. And to relieve my stress, I smoked. Okay? Cigarettes. That's it. And it's bad. Okay? Whenever you're trying to even set your own mental, for me, my mental fortitude when it comes to academics, it hurt me physically so bad. My doctor was like, "What the is wrong with your health? Are you depressed?" I'm like, "No, I'm just studying." So yeah, please, time management's important. Make sure you put a schedule. If some things are more important that you need to take priority of, try to adjust your schedule as soon as possible. Try to, adjust the way you go about with just regular routines as much as possible. If you literally walk down to Wendy's and if that takes you 20 minutes just to walk back and forth, just bring a lunch. Just make a lunch with you early in the morning or the night before. Bring it with you, study, and eat while you study instead of walking 20 minutes and wasting your time like that. So, yeah, that's it. Always enjoy your life. Trust me. Love hanging out with your friends. Friends are very important in college. If they weren't there for me, especially freshman year, sophomore year, junior year, senior year, that would have been hell. So yeah.
This message is approved by the Work Talk Live podcast and approved by Joseph Lee.